Hey D Squad, what's up? Welcome back to the channel.
Hey guys, how y'all doing? So we are in our newly constructed Airbnb and we are Airbnb hosts.
Yes.
We've been hosting for a couple years now, and this is our second space.
Yes.
So we've been in the market a little bit, and of course we've been covering the topic of Airbnb on our channel.
Yes.
So if you are considering becoming an Airbnb host, remember to use our affiliate link in the description box below. And if you guys have questions, of course you can place them in the comment section, and you can also email us, and our email is listed below as well.
Yep.
You will also find our Instagram handles below, and that's how you communicate with us, no other way. Alright?
So this is our newly constructed unit. We're sitting in our living room right now. We actually, had a couple of days that we blocked out on our calendar just to, get some housekeeping done, stuff like that,
Definitely. But we wanted to talk to you guys about the Airbnb market.
Yes.
Because we want to ensure that on our channel we are very transparent.
Right.
We want to give it to you.
Yeah. We've not seen much content about the Airbnb market as it is currently and what's going on that they call it Airbnb bust. Since we started Airbnb, it's been a mad rush. Back in 2019.
Yes, so we started in 2019.
Yes.
It was a pretty good year.
Yeah.
I would say in 2019 in Jamaica here it was very well for us.
Yeah.
And of course COVID came.
And then COVID came like a year later. We were forced to shut down for like a month or so. Right?
Years.
And since we reopened, it's been crazy. There's like a rebound effect in terms of traveler demand, all around the world, not just in Jamaica. So short-term rentals really saw a serious uptick, right after COVID.
2021 of course did good.
Definitely. And into 2022 as well.
Yes.
Those years were very good. Bookings came in well in advance, And we were strong advocates for, joining the Airbnb platform,
With that said, 2022 started out great. But we noticed in the middle of the year, we started to see a bit of tapering off of our bookings. So normally our immediate month following would be booked out.
Yeah.
So if we're in May, normally June would already be booked out or almost booked out.
Right.
And we're getting bookings over into the other month. We noticed that the middle of 2020 is not like that. We're starting to get last minute bookings, we're starting to get return bookings.
Yeah, we always used to get return bookings, but those return guests along with the last minute bookings were really what we found really filled our calendar, which was a bit unusual, but still our nights overall were like close to 100% occupancy.
Yeah, would always make it out of the month.
Yeah.
Like it would always full up over time. But it's just weird the fact that we are not getting the advance booking that we are comfortable with.
Right.
Towards the ending of 2022 now, which is what we are coming out of, we realized that December wasn't booked out. I mean October or December not booked out. Our practice, like our experience in the past was that December would be booked out long in advance.
From
like
June,
September,
July, September them time,
And it wasn't so.
Right.
In fact, we were booked out in December.
Yeah.
But it was last minute,
which was unusual, and I think that was partly due to the fact that you have some decreased consumer confidence in the economy. Yeah. Also in 2022, you find that inflation really skyrocketed. In the US, inflation was like probably 8%. In Jamaica, they say on the books 10%, but for us we feel like probably 300% inflation in a lot of cases, because things even in the US, the cost for things double, and even in Jamaica to double and triple. So I mean,
more like it.
This made disposable income that people can probably use for traveling would be much decreased,
Exactly.
Right.
So we found that December was a bit different. When we started to see the trend, we started to do research.
Yes.
So the middle of the year we're like, look kind of different.
Yeah.
But when we see October come and December the book, we're like, let's start researching what's happening.
Yeah.
So there is this thing called Airbnb bust. Agent talked about it before. We have mentioned it in this video already 1,000 times. So Airbnb bust. That's what's happening. Basically, it's just a slight decrease in the availability of bookings, and that is so for several reasons. As Adrian mentioned, economic downturns can be a factor, but we're also is a factor is the presence of new listings.
Yeah, a whole lot of new listings. Like in the past, there were some listings in our area. You know, when we just started Airbnb, there were some listings, but now there are a whole lot of new listings, right? Even some of the more very, you know, good performing listings. You know, we normally appear on the first page in search, but others around us, when you look at their calendars were mostly empty. So which was a bit concerning, you know?
Exactly. So we've been doing our research in our areas and even in other areas as well. And it's not only us, but when we really look at the overall landscape of persons who are doing Airbnb all over the world, they are seeing the same trend. Right. So Airbnb is becoming very popular, which is good.
Yes. For persons who are hosting, you know, the number of listings have gone up, but we found that the number of travelers haven't gone up too much that increase in the supply. So you find that you know, the supply is up here,
there's a bit of shortfall.
Then the demand is somewhere here.
And also there is another factor that you have to take into consideration. You have to take into consideration where you appear on the Airbnb search list. And this is very important because where you appear determines how often your listing is seen, and how often your listing is seen, this determines how often you are booked. So that also has changed. Airbnb has changed their focus. So yeah, you have to be a bit different, you have to be a bit unique.
Yes.
And so with all that coming together, it creates a different dynamic in the Airbnb space or in the Airbnb business. What are we saying? We're saying you have to do good business.
You have to be dynamic, you have to be different.
Research,
you know, a lot of new listings have came on the market and all of them are looking the same. You know, so you have to, you know, swim. You don't want to swim with the sharks. You want to swim differently, you know. We're basically bringing this to you guys just to highlight the market shift. And I know a lot of persons are still considering entering into the Airbnb business. It is still a very good business to enter into, but just that you have to be mindful.
It's just a side note, it's a business. And we found that there are some persons who come into Airbnb hosting and they come in with the mindset of business like we did. And that's great because that means that you're ready to work and you're willing to put in the work and to grow your business.
Right.
But there are some persons who come in and they're only for the quick fix. Now the quick fix persons who just want the ready cash, if you're going to use Airbnb as a cash cow, then you're going to find that this season is going to be very turbulent for you.
And we just want to be frank. None of the other persons have a YouTube platform like we do. We found that a lot of our visitors actually from, you know, subscribers, persons actually consume our content. So that within itself is a very good marketing strategy that we've employed, you know, and it has been working very well for us. You know?
And what we've noticed as well for our particular Airbnb is that we have a lot of return guests. So a lot of the time, the persons who are booking our space, especially with the latter half of 2022, are persons who have already stayed with us and are saying, I'm coming back and I want you guys. I want you guys to host me.
Yes.
So that's another thing. We have to look at Airbnb as a business, and I've always said to persons who have asked us about Airbnb, asked us for advice, I've always said it's a business. So you're gonna have ups and downs. And I don't know if you guys are watching this video, but you'd have heard us say, listen, this is one of the things you have to come in with a competitive feet on, competitive cap on. You have to come in with a mindset to look at the field that you're in. Not all Airbnbs are at the same level. Not all Airbnbs are in the same space. And you have to determine the space that you're in. What are your competitions? Who is around you? What is the advantages in your situation? And use them. You also have to research. You have to do market research, and we realize that a lot of persons are not doing enough market research. We recently found out about this couple that's actually going into Airbnb, and they did excellent market research. But that's like only one single person that we've ever seen in all the persons that have talked to us and have done such an extensive research of the Airbnb market. what is there, what can be the upturn, what is the downturn, which areas are these, which areas are, like, they did excellent work. And a lot of the time we find that persons who are looking to come into the space are not doing enough.
Right. The thing about Airbnb now with the oversupply, of listings, is that you have to find a niche, right? A lot of persons, they come in, they say, hey, it's buying a community, they fix it up, bed, couch. That used to do very well on Airbnb because there were not a lot of supply. But now that a lot of persons are actually doing it with this model. So you find that, as we say, oversupply. When you go on Airbnb, there are so many of the same listings. So as a traveler, all are the same.
You just pick one.
So that is why we actually did our space in this way, and we actually, we're happy being unique, offering something different. A lot of persons, as I just stated, them have the bed and the couch, and them feel like they'll be successful at Airbnb with the high prices. Pricing is, a way to be competitive as well, right?
It's critical.
And actually, we found that, in 2022, prices for Airbnbs are significantly falling, right? Because of the fact that they have an oversupply. So persons have to be actually dropping their prices to try and get, be competitive.
And with that being said, we want to highlight certain points. Let's talk about Airbnb as a business. When you go into the Airbnb space, you have to be careful that you are able to, with this particular stage that we are in now in the Airbnb market, you have to be able to say, okay, I'm comfortable with at least, if I go 50% booking for the month, I'll be okay.
I'll be able to pay my utilities and be slightly profitable.
And if that's not you, then I think you're gonna be in a lot of problems.
Right.
This is where financing becomes very important, and financial planning, because your finances, your base expenses must be covered for this to be a profitable business for you. Right,
because we've seen that new developments have been significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
Right, so with the older listings that were already on Airbnb, they acquired for a lower price. They are able to sell at a lower price.
Yeah.
If you are just entering with a higher price listing, and in order to compete with them, it's just like it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Will I be able to or not?
So you must do your market analysis.
Yes.
You must look at the area you're interested in. Look at the prices of what that is being offered. Do the calculations. At the end of the month, with 50% booking or 40% booking, will I be okay?
Right.
And if that's okay, then you can be reasonable. You can say, okay, I'm comfortable doing this.
Yes.
Just personal advice.
Yes. I mean, when we scroll Airbnb, there are other great listings around like ours. Probably though they don't have a YouTube platform like we do, and we've seen where their calendars be running empty. Right. Guys, so do your research. Airbnb bus is actually a thing, and a lot of persons here on YouTube, they've not been addressing this, right? So they are promoting hosting on Airbnb, and persons go in with this false sense of entitlement or expectations that might not be accurate.
Good.
All right. As short-term rental supply continues to increase, occupancy has fallen, getting closer to 2019 levels. All right. So with the occupancies falling and the 2019 level, that's 4 years ago. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And the number of listings have significantly increased since then. So you can just do the maths. It's a story that echoes across social media platforms from rental property owners across the nation. Vacation rentals are no longer generating the steady revenue investors grew to expect during the pandemic. The era of Airbnb buzz has taken hold. Real estate investor Sabrina Must, who once rented her 2-bedroom condo in Encinitas, California, for $1,000 per night on a holiday weekend, has dropped her rates to $275 per night due to waning demand. Waning demand. What do you think is the reason for waning demand? No, as we stated before, number one, an oversupply on the market, Airbnb listings, and also a kind of plateauing, you know, a tapering off in the demand, the supply, you know, of travelers. That is, all right. It's a problem for many everyday people who decided to try a hand in real estate investing during a period of booming demand, sometimes without a backup plan or the skills to remain competitive during a downturn. So a lot of persons, they enter in, they are hosting remotely, and they are not trying to make their listing be different. So you find that they get lost in the ocean.
They try to set it and forget it, but that's really not, like, if you have an active business that you're trying to grow, you can never set it and forget it. You have to always be at it, evaluating, coming up with new plans. With that said, we want to talk about another big talk of the town. That is, what if the real estate market crashes?
Right.
What if, like, what will happen when the real estate market crashes? What if it does? Who will be affected?
Right.
Want to have you guys on your toes.
Yeah.
As we always said, like, we want you to do your research, put your best foot forward, and ensure that you're standing on stable ground. Ensure that whatever you're doing, you're able to cover yourself and you're able to see the benefit. And when there should be, or if there should be difficulties, that you can recover. I remember in 2020, we started hosting in 2019. In 2020, like, we were there sitting down and we were saying, like, what? Who would have ever thought that something like this could happen and this would be affecting us? Because we did our market research, we knew what we could possibly expect, but who would expect COVID?
Who would expect a complete lockdown, right? Yeah.
So if we did not have a contingency plan for those months when we were locked down and locked up, and we had utility bills, we're like, oh crap, how are we going to manage our utility bills? We have mortgage, we have all these stuff, and we're like, right, we have to batten down. We have to do our due diligence, get rid of these utilities, you know, like, we have to prepare ourselves, and we want you to be prepared as well. Think of the worst that could happen. How can I circumvent that?
Yes.
Can I manage?
Cass did mention earlier, you know, what can happen to the market. I think one big thing that can happen to the market is, you know, real estate prices can actually go down. You know, we feel like that's a genuine possibility, because there will be persons actually exiting, you know, because panic selling. So those who are bullish can actually, you know, take advantage, you know. Yeah, so, you know, real estate prices, you know, can, you know, find, you know, see a downward spiral, and this is a possibility that we have to talk about, you know?
And I love what Agent said, for those who are bullish, because we like to think of, oh my God, the market is crashing, and everybody gets nervous and starts screaming like they're gonna fall, you know, how much you put building. But when with a market crash, there are advantages as well. And,
you know, more affordable housing will then be a thing again. Right? So all of these things, you know, are possibilities. You know, Airbnb hosts, you know, some of them that are not so resilient, that are not really in it for the long haul, a lot of them will exit.
Cash cow.
You know?
If you're using it for a cash cow, then you're going to have a big problem. This will be when you're going to say, I'm not staying, I'm leaving.
You know, rental prices, you know, will also decrease again, because we've seen that persons have been, you know, unable to afford regular rent. So all of these possibilities do exist.
So one last point that we want to cover, market trends, investment, Airbnb, real estate, it's all investment, and what goes up inevitably comes down.
Yeah, so it's important to diversify your portfolio, and actually we've been discussing that since 2022, even before, you know, we really noticed this, because to be honest, Airbnb was doing so well for us, we didn't even look around at, you know, the competitors and stuff like that, because also we have our YouTube platform, and you know, it drove a lot of travelers to our listings, which, you know, we are grateful. And do remember, you can book this space, you know, link in the description for this one, and also our first Airbnb that's also linked in the description, guys. So yeah,
and we are doing our due diligence. We have to do our overnight stay just to ensure that the space is functional. Because sometimes you set a space and you're like, oh, it should work, man. But if you've never lived there,
there are issues that pop up.
Yeah. So we've done our due diligence. We've stayed in the space, so we can always know how we can improve on what we're offering. So Airbnb as a business in a snapshot in January 2023, are we gonna stay afloat or are we gonna sink? Will we have a market crash? Won't we? Like, all things to consider, and would love to hear your comments in the comment section. Don't be shy, come out, ask your questions, put out your information, because we don't know everything, so we want you all to tell us.
Important too, if you're interested in hosting on Airbnb, as I always tell persons, go on Airbnb as a traveler, look at the calendar of very good listings that you see in the area that you're looking to host, look how those calendars are performing and assess it based on that. Am I comfortable with this kind of booking rate, or so yes, do your research, look what's going on.
It's a business.
Yes.
And when you think of it as a business, your approach will always be different.
Yes.
With that said, bye lovely people.
We out, guys.
Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on your post notification bell, put the setting on all. Give us a thumbs up for this video. Share our content.
Peace.